Welcome to this video on meetings. My name is Justin Solomilo. I am with the Community Development Unit of Alberta Culture, Multiculturalism, and Status of Women. Before I begin, I would like to mention that the goal of our board development video series is for board members of nonprofit organizations to have the basic knowledge, skills, and tools to be successful in their work. We realize that some of you are not board members, and that's fine, but we want you to be aware that the information, concepts, and ideas presented are from board member perspectives. Also, the information presented here is aimed at an introductory level or as a refresher for board members to ensure that they have the base level understanding of board governance concepts and principles needed to successfully do their work. We do have other resources that we can share with you, such as our toolkit. There is a link in the description of this video to our toolkit that provides additional resources and links that we think are helpful for you and your nonprofit organization as you tackle your governance issues. Included in this toolkit is a copy of the slides we use in this video and all the videos in our board development video series. You can also hit the subscribe button down below and turn the notifications on to subscribe to our YouTube channel and get notifications about our upcoming videos. The last thing I want to mention before we get going is that in this video, we are not providing advice. The information offered in this video and the related materials are not intended to constitute legal advice, the rendering of legal concepts, consulting, or other professional services of any kind. We simply want to share with you information that we think will be helpful for board members as you navigate your organization through its governance and operations. Without further ado, let's get going. By the end of this video, you will be able to identify what board members should be focused on, explain what agenda, minutes, Robert's Rules of Order, and in-camera sessions are, and how they help board members and their meetings. Explain how boards can make their meetings more effective, and explain informal leadership and how they relate to the meetings. In this video, we want to look at ways that ensure your meetings are purposeful, productive, engaging, enjoyable, and that help your board take on its leadership role for the organization. Let's start with a broad description of what board meetings can accomplish. Board meetings provide the occasion to focus the board's attention on the matters of utmost concern and to call the board to action. I want to focus on the matters of utmost concern portion of this slide for a moment. Boards usually have a handful of meetings during the year, and they need to govern the organization in those meetings. As such, the board must focus on the most important matters of the organization during their meetings. Board members should leave each meeting with a renewed appreciation of the mission and how the meeting is connected to that mission. Among other things, this helps to keep the mission fresh in the minds of board members. It's more tangible and important if you're actually using it at your board meetings. An increased understanding of the challenges and opportunities facing the organization. This is the board's opportunity to discuss and make decisions for the organization, including the challenges and opportunities that it has. Also, a chance to have contributed to a discussion of importance. We often talk about active oversight, and contributing to discussions of importance during a meeting is a great way to display active oversight. And finally, inspiration and direction to help the organization. Board meetings are a great opportunity for taking advantage of the passion that board members have for the organization and combining that passion with the ability and the opportunity to move the organization in the right direction. So what is the purpose of our meeting? Here's a few questions that you and your fellow board members can consider when thinking about your meetings, whether you're planning them or evaluating them. Is this meeting essential? Is it? You don't need to meet unless there's something to meet about. What are we trying to achieve by having a meeting? Be sure that you can understand how the meeting is helping the organization make some progress. What do we need to accomplish that requires us to come together? Take advantage of having all the board members at the meeting. Focus on the work that all board members need to be involved in. How will our meeting link to our organization's purpose or goals? The more that you make the link between the work that's done in the meeting and the purpose or goals of the organization, the clearer the organization's purpose and goals become. And the board members feel that their work at the meetings is essential and important. Who needs to be in the room? Besides board members, are there others that could be involved? Perhaps it would be helpful to bring in a guest that can give a reliable perspective on some of the issues that will be addressed during the meeting. Why have an agenda? It acts as a meeting guide by determining when discussions occur, when decisions are made, how much time is allotted for each section of the agenda, and it's important to the democratic process. The agenda can ensure that all board members are involved in discussion and decisions. How? By providing time for the information to be presented, discussed, and voted upon. It connects the meeting to the purpose of the meeting and desired outcomes that were established for the meeting. It encourages focus from the board members. So board members have to keep the timing, goals, and objectives of the meeting in mind so that discussions and decisions can be made for all things on the agenda. And finally, it identifies key group and team activities. Group and team activities are important. So if they are included in the agenda, board members can see not only what they're going to do during the meeting, but how they're going to do it. They will see the activities are going to participate in. If the agenda is a guide for what will happen in the meeting, the minutes are a record for what actually happened during the meeting. So meeting minutes, they record groups' objectives and collective action. They provide a permanent record and keep track of the progress. Minutes tell the story of your organization. One of the best things to look at to understand the work of an organization is to see a record of their meeting minutes. They help you see what things that they're continually working on, what things get resolved, and what progress has been made. They also inform absent members and orient new members. It's a record of who was there, decisions made, tasks assigned, and action items that are identified. They're also useful for evaluating an organization's work. They provide you with a record of the objectives and the actions taken during the meeting. They also can help create an action sheet that describes the action, who will do it, and a date for completion. They're also a legal record of decisions made for the organization. This can be formal or informal, but it needs to be kept. Minutes shouldn't take hours. So what are rules of order? In general, rules of order provide detailed guidance around the processes that will be used in a meeting. They tell you how to raise motions and bring up business quorum. They provide you with processes for your discussions and debates during the meetings. They give you the procedures for making decisions and voting. They describe the roles and responsibilities for the people in the meeting. You're not required to use formal rules of order. However, they can be helpful if you're looking for consistency and a common understanding of how your discussions, dissension, and voting are done. So what are in-camera sessions? These are a portion of the meeting that is not open to the public due to sensitive information that is shared. In-camera sessions are private, but the decisions and motions made are made publicly in the regular portion of the meeting. In other words, the discussions are not added in the minutes, but any decisions or motions that results from those discussions are placed in the minutes. So if you do use in-camera sessions, do you take notes during the meeting or do you not take notes during the meeting? What's your practice? In our toolkit, where there is a link in the description, you'll find a great resource from Governing Good that talks about in-camera sessions. So it says in-camera sessions challenge boards to assess whether the motivation for a closed or private deliberation is tied to the need for confidentiality and/or secrecy. While confidentiality is important to good board governance, secrecy can and will undermine it. Okay. Let's shift gears. We've talked a lot about structures, processes, and roles. Now let's go over other factors that can really make or break a meeting. The first one here we talk about is space. So if we aren't comfortable and the space isn't helpful, it can really affect our mood, effectiveness, and quality of discussions. And this applies to in-person spaces as well as virtual platforms. So we'll talk about in-person first. So be sure that you're following any provincial and municipal guidelines for in-person groups and events. Ensure that space is suitable to size. An extra room, I mean, that could be nice to allow small group breakout conversations or using walls to post ideas. Arrange the room so that people face each other, and this helps us hear and see each other. So, shapes like circles, semicircles, U shapes can help that. Vary location as you're able or accommodate to different members. And think about other social distancing considerations that you may have if you do meet in person. Let's talk about virtual space. We want to ensure that everyone has their video on during the meeting. This gives you a better chance to see and connect with everyone. Keep in mind that not everyone will want to have their video on, so it's probably a good idea to set this expectation early. You can use many different tools during your online meetings: polls, whiteboards, breakout rooms, chat box, online collaboration spaces for asking and answering questions. There are other factors to consider that can positively contribute to our meetings. This might include the use of visual aids, images, media, perhaps videos that you want to share. It'd be great if you can post a large agenda on the wall or a whiteboard or a Jamboard if it's virtual. Um, and if you're in person, serving light refreshments or snacks is also a great way to create a good look and feel. So think about and plan for any special requirements of individual board members. So for example, does one person have trouble hearing? Are there any visual impairments? Are there people with English as a second language? Virtually, do you need to schedule breaks at a particular time to accommodate to parents who need to check things out in their home? As you plan your meetings, think about how and what you could adjust to assist everyone so that they can participate fully. Another thing that can be really helpful is to provide check-ins. This helps build a sense of team and it improves your meetings when you take time to do it at the beginning. Some people may view this activity as unnecessary or potentially a waste of time because you want to get down to business. But the risk of this is that at the start of your meetings, you might not know what the mood or the mindset of others are when they get there. Someone might be having a rough day and they might bring some of these challenges to the meeting. Perhaps they're argumentative or difficult at some point, but you don't really know why. So check-ins are important to greet and make people feel welcome and connected. So structured go-arounds allow each member to check in, and this can be a set question or variable, professional or personal. It really can help set the tone and get people ready for the discussions ahead. Lastly, when was the last time you or others evaluated your meeting or how your year was going? Things like checkouts to end the meeting can be equally helpful. So although it's easy to say that the chair is in charge, every board member has a responsibility to play a leadership role in the organization. Your role should be to support the chair and the decisions made at the meeting. Meeting responsibilities can easily be shared among board members. We'll go over a few in the next slides here. This is really about shaping the culture and expectations at the board and organizational level. As I mentioned in the previous slide, all participants have a leadership role to play, especially during meetings. You can deliberately use meetings to create a broader leadership and ownership within your team. So think of the board meeting as an opportunity for all board members to show their leadership qualities and to do so in order to make the meetings more effective and also more engaging and enjoyable. The more that a variety of people get involved in the meeting, the more likely it will be that board members will learn new skills and new behaviors. So this can look like sharing some of the facilitation around different parts you talk about. Asking to hold each other accountable to staying focused on the purpose, topic, and timing. You could also assign and rotate a timekeeper, a note taker, or a vibe watcher. And really a vibe watcher is the one who keeps an eye on how people are feeling when they're agitated, bored, or engaged. Sometimes it could be as simple as, hey, maybe it's a good time to take a 5-minute break. You also want to show interest and appreciation, ask questions, give feedback, admit mistakes. So genuine interest and appreciation can boost the confidence of everyone who gives input during that meeting. Asking questions is a very good way of ensuring active oversight, particularly when it is a difficult question to ask. Giving and receiving feedback. We know it's not easy, but be sure to show appreciation when giving feedback. And remember that the more you give feedback and receive feedback, the easier it actually becomes. Admitting mistakes is an easy way to show that you are willing to be honest. So all of these different behaviors, which we say here are connected with informal leadership, are all parts of the culture of the organization. So in other words, they're examples of how the board wants to interact with each other and behave in ways to demonstrate what the type of behaviors and interactions you want to see. I'm sure many of you have tons of ideas on this topic. So what are the ingredients of effective meetings? If you've watched our roles and responsibilities video, you've probably seen some of these concepts. So to sum it up, these are the ingredients of an effective meeting, and they include a clear purpose, thoughtful and inclusive preparation, intentional meeting design where everyone knows the how to participate, effective formal leadership supported by everyone, clear next steps so you will feel progress and keep momentum going from one meeting to the next as you advance your organization's purpose. That takes us to the end of our meetings video. Thank you so much for joining us here. Our contact information is on the slide that you're seeing, as well as the toolkit that we know we've left a link in the description for. If you're in Alberta, you have a question, you need further information, or would like to request our services, you can contact us through email and phone. You can also access our website to know more about our resources and services. And also, if you want to be informed of our future services and resources, you could add your email address to our subscription form, and you'll receive information about our services and resources as they become available. The link to the subscription form is in the description of the video as well. So thank you everybody for your attention. We want you to take care, stay healthy, and remember that our communities have so much more because of everything you do. Thank you, and we'll catch you at the next video.